We're not seeing non-stop rain. As expected, it's lines of heavy falls coming in bands, so stop-start with the risk of extremely intense rainfalls. The red warning for Auckland, which is Auckland north of Orewa. Expect that rainfall to continue through the overnight period. We do expect impacts, so slips, further flooding, and so people in that region, just listen to your helpful and friendly civil defence. This warning is in force for localised heavier falls overnight, kicking in from 8 p.m. in the north and later in the south, through until about 10 a.m. Wednesday. So if you live in Auckland, south of Orewa, we expect the impacts to be quite isolated, pockets of impacts where we see the heavier falls and higher intensity rainfalls overnight. So I guess the key thing for people south of Orewa is that not everyone will see impacts. If you live in the area that is in the red warning, you should expect to see some impacts overnight. I would like people in Coromandel Peninsula and Bay of Plenty west of about Kawerau, including the Rotorua Lakes District, the Western Bay of Plenty and Tauranga City, to go and have a look at what the weather warnings look like. They kick in for Wednesday, so it's a bit later on. But yeah, just get ready, have a look at the weather warnings and prepare. If you live on the eastern coastline, particularly north of the Waitemata Harbour, then we expect that wind watch to kick in this evening and overnight. The wind strengths are not particularly high for Auckland, but we do expect some tree throw over roads or power lines in the tonight overnight period because we're just so saturated.
So in Northland, a declaration of local emergency has been made by the Civil Defence Emergency Management Group, and the Regional Emergency Coordination Centre has been activated. NEMA has deployed 3 staff to assist at that coordination centre with the emergency now in place. In the Waikato, the Regional Emergency Coordination Centre and local emergency operations centres have been activated in response to the situation there. We understand that heavy rain is also expected in the Bay of Plenty, and I know that the Civil Defence Emergency Management Group is also monitoring things very closely.
We will continue to have open throughout the night our 3 current Civil Defence centres, at Leonards Road School, 15 St Leonards Road, Kelston, the Massey University Albany campus, Sir Neil Walters Lecture Theatre, Massey University. That's accessed via the Albany Expressway on State Highway 17. Mana Tukutuku at 32 Riverton Drive, Randwick Park. Throughout the day, we've also had support and services available at Moana Nui Kiwa Pool and Leisure Centre in Mascot Ave, Mangere. And this centre will be available overnight for people that do need urgent accommodation as a result of any inclement weather. We will also be standing up, or in the process of setting up at the moment, evacuation centres, again primarily for the purpose of people needing to seek shelter overnight at the Wellsford Community Centre and the Warkworth Town Hall, and we're currently looking at options for the QMU area as well. Information on those different sites will be of course available on our social media channels and our aem.org.nz website. If you do need to go to an evacuation centre or a civil defence centre, then please make sure you bring any essential items you're safely able to do with you. So things like medication, really important if you need medications that you bring those with you. If you're in that situation where you need to leave your home and you've got a dog or a cat or another type of domestic pet and you really need to take that with you, then you can do that. You can take that with you to the Civil Defence Centre. Please call Auckland Emergency Management. I've said this number quite a few times, but I'll say it again, 0800 22 2200 if you're unsure of what to do or you need some help.
Across the region there is potential for slips and floodwaters to disrupt travel and make some roads impassable. Auckland Transport's had to close 82 roads 35 of those are still closed. 47 have been reopened. Traffic on the network today is moderate. The following issues are our key areas of focus. So Great North Road near State Highway 16 has 2 lanes open for westbound traffic and 1 eastbound lane open. Scenic Drive has 3 significant slips and managed access is in place for affected residents. Ahuroa Road remains closed because of a significant issue with the road there. Mill Flat Road, the Bailey Bridge will be on site today and residents will still continue to have access via the forest. Tahakakea Road has a significant slip and residents do have access out of the area currently. Glenvar Road is closed due to 2 slips. So those are the ones that I've just mentioned is where we're recommending that the broader public stay away from those roads if possible.
Over the coming days, as we have since Friday night, police have been deploying reassurance patrols into the communities most hard hit by this. We will continue to do that as we see ourselves through this next weather event. Police acknowledge that we have had some burglaries in both residential and commercial premises. To that point, it's really disappointing to see the opportunist and I suppose selfish type offending that brings people to commit these types of offences, particularly in vulnerable locations. Anyone out there sees suspicious behaviour or concerns of behaviour, we encourage them to ring 111 emergency line immediately. Also, if someone has been the victim of a crime and they want to report that to police, we absolutely encourage that through our 10-5 crime reporting line.
An update on waste. So we've been working very closely with our Auckland Council Waste Solutions team and have got good information on the process for getting rid of storm-related waste and local waste via transfer stations. And we're working with community groups to organise skip bins where there is a community initiative to clear waste in certain areas. I mentioned this morning that we already had, I think, 26 bins out to streets around Mangere, Sunny Nook and other locations. And I'm sure there's been more delivered throughout the day. We have got high winds coming, so please secure anything on or near your property that might become a hazard. So we don't want to be adding to the current situation by more things flying around and ending up in places that they shouldn't. And if you do need to remove items to keep your home safe, secure or healthy, it's a really good idea, just some advice to take before and after photos and leave structural items like jib and floorboards in place where they are. Floodwater can be contaminated, so using gloves, good hygiene afterwards is really important. In regards to water, Watercare says tap water remains safe to drink. So we have had some questions, about water and whether it's safe to drink. It is safe to drink. We've increased, Watercare has increased their sampling in the network and the results are compliant with the required public drinking water standards. And they still have tankers in the west of Auckland providing emergency water where we've had some issues with the supply line as a result of slips. There is repairs being done in that area, but there will still be some intermittent outages as they do some of that repair work. If there is people out there that are affected by that intermittent repair work and need water and can't physically get to one of those water tanker locations, again, you can contact us and we will find a way to help you with that. So for welfare assistance, you can contact the Ministry of Social Development on 0800 400 100 about civil defence payments. So these are payments, as they sound like, related to helping out people affected by an emergency event. They can help with accommodation costs if you've been evacuated, loss of income because you can't work due to the flooding, emergency food, clothing and bedding if yours has been damaged or destroyed. You don't have to be a current beneficiary with Ministry of Social Development to access those services. Those services are there for people anyone needing help. And if you have urgent food needs as a result of being displaced by the flooding, you can look for providers at familyservices.govt.nz/directory.